of vote banks, are they following the principles of secularism? No, they are not.
That means this is just a word written.
It is just a word.
It is not actually in life.
Yes.
Considering India. You earlier mentioned about the criticism happened in Karnataka when this particular novel was published. What kind of criticism was there, and what was the interaction?
See, the same kind of criticism that Bairappa is communal and he is trying to divide society, etc. This book must be banned and it is rotten, etc., etc. That is the kind of criticism. Many people, you see, there were two kinds of writings on this. One totally condemning it, and totally highly praising it. But taking this as a literary work and then studying its structure, characterization, how historical facts are transformed in the novel. I have not taken raw historical facts, I have transformed into work of art. And I have synthesized contemporary characters with the historical facts. Take for example, Shastri's mother dies and her ashes should be taken to Ganga. And the old lady's daughter and son-in-law, they go to Kashi. And Lakshmi accompanies them. On the way they discuss about the religious matters. They get down at Mughal Sarai. They take a rickshaw towards Kashi. It is only 10 miles. Lakshmi starts talking with the rickshawala. And after some time she finds a big gumbas. And she asks the man, what is that? He says, so that is Kashi, madam. What is that then? Oh, that is, because that gumbas is dominating the whole
scenario of the banks of Kashi.
And that the rickshawala tells her about Kashi. So this way I introduce Kashi. And then Lakshmi goes there. And then I describe all the streets of Kashi, etc., etc., religious rituals of Kashi. Lakshmi goes to library to find out some books which she could not get anywhere else. And then, sitting at the bank of the Ganga, she gets the idea of her next chapter. And in the next chapter, that Kashi scene, how the Vishwanath Mandir was destroyed, Lakshmi writes down. Now, for all this, I prepare the background. I first give the references in the library for Lakshmi to write that. Now, is it not a literary device on the swaras of another singer when he sings, when he listens? In the same way, a sensitive critic or a sensitive reader or a writer himself or herself will appreciate it. But many people fail to appreciate the technical skill involved in this novel. So, if you have time, with text in my hand, I can show you where I have used my skill in several places. This kind of criticism, treat it as a novel first.
You mean to say you want to criticize a novel on philosophical basis rather than on political?
No, on literary basis. On literary basis. A technique basis. I have evolved a new technique in this novel.
Which was not earlier in any writings.
No, it was not earlier Possibly in any other writers, not merely in my writing, but in any other writings. See, there are many people have written historical novels, but who has adopted this technique? This technique was necessitated because I wanted to show the two sides. One is history, the matter of history, raw material of history, and then historiography. How history is written, interpreted, and what are the forces which are controlling historiography. I wanted to bring both. Have you read any such novel in any language? You have not.
No. There are some questions which I just couldn't read out because they are in Kannada, I think. Please go through this.
You see, this one question is about which is your most favorite character, and tell me something about Krishna in Parva. It is not related to present day's discussion. And why did you write Avarana? I have already answered this question.
There is one more question. Don't you think that the novel written using historical figures or events are a form of corruption regarding the thought process and opinion building of an reader?
You see, here we come to the question of not distorting the truth of history. A politician distorts history. Suppose a politician wants to answer Avarana, he would say, you see, even I think Jawaharlal Nehru has written about Aurangzeb. He was a religious minded person and he was making his daily living by copying the Quran, etc., etc. Not mentioning any. And if you read these two sentences about Aurangzeb, you see young children, school-going children will think what a great the emperor he was. But are you telling the truth? Now the thing is, you must not disfigure or distort historical characters. Be true to the historical characters, whether it is Aurangzeb or Akbar or Shivaji or whoever it is. Be true to historical characters. Try to understand them in their totality. Don't take a piece of it and then give your own interpretation. Otherwise, don't touch those characters. Don't touch those characters. Don't take historical theme.
Distortion of history is created by so-called intellectuals, created an impact on Indian psychology. What is your comment?
It is true. It is true. On Indian psychology means, see, every day if you read the same thing in newspapers, through cinemas, etc., etc., see, we have a very wrong notion about it. I have to tell the whole thing, whether I don't know whether I should say no. I want to avoid it.
At least in brief.
Huh?
At least in brief.
I think I have told you or somebody else yesterday, but no, let me avoid this.
Your novel Avaran has thrown ample light on indecent behavior of Muslim rulers and officers from northern India. Not only they molested the modesty of Hindu women, but also by their gay behavior of Hindu good-looking men. I think the gay nature and unnatural sex was common amongst Mughals, Turks and such other tribes. Have you gone through some references of the South Indian Muslim rulers like Adi Shahs, Tipu, etc.?
I don't know about that. But about, see,
He wanted to say they never harm women even of the enemies.
who?
The South Indian Muslims, they never harm any woman.
No, I don't know. I have not studied them. But Tughlaq has done all these, unsavory things in Deccan, in Golconda. He did it.
There is one reference of Tipu also in our
Yes, yes,
which
yes.
you
there
have
is.
given. Almost common questions are there, so many. Basically the same, changing of history or the scenario or the truth of historical footings. Marathi people are facing the same thing now. So after reading your novel, what you will suggest to common Marathi reader that how he should take the reaction and what he should behave when such type of betrayals are going on?
No, you boldly tell the truth, historical truth, boldly tell the truth, and also boldly say how truths are being suppressed. That's the only thing that intellectuals can do. You see, for example, I had been to Pratapgarh. In Pratapgarh there is Shivaji's and Afzal Khan's fight, etc. The place where Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji is now completely closed. Any tourist who goes there, he cannot go there and then see it. And there is not even a board about it. What is Pratapgarh without that very important historical monument?
We are fighting for the last 5 years.
Yes. Is it not suppression of truth?
What do you think, what made Gandhiji say truth is God and God is truth? Whether it was beauty, aesthetics, philosophy, politics or itihas?
You see, very recently I read a book by one, Chaudhary or somebody. He retired as professor of philosophy from Jodhpur University. The title of the book is Epistemology of Gandhi or some such thing. I will just tell you, or when I reach Mysore, you just make a phone call. The book is with me. They have analyzed it. Many of our leaders, like Gandhi, use words without a formal discipline. And that is what that author has written. It is not I who am telling it. Because he has specialized in analytic philosophy. Analytic philosophy is you collect the words that a particular person has used in any of his writings, and then in which different senses he uses the same word and what exactly he means, and analyze it. Now he applied this method and he comes to this conclusion. Therefore, truth is God and God is truth and God is non-violence, etc., etc. I do not accept it.
There is one more question from Bhalchandra Supekar. Do you think that there is a political pressure on writers, particularly while writing a historical novel? And how do you think this can be resolved?
Not only historical novel, even contemporary novel. When you write contemporary novels also, there will be pressure. There are various groups, like for example Marxist groups who will condemn your novel as rightist. And maybe you see the protest group, in Kannada we call it Bandaya, the protest group which will condemn you as orthodox. Women's group who will condemn you as anti-feminist. Dalit group who will condemn you as, you see, with some other name.